I paused it. Okay, as per the time which you schedule, right? So all you need to just create the job. Okay, and this is the syntax to create the job. As part of this, you specify all the connect string, the connect and username, password, table name, database, everything you specify it, and then later point in time you can do it. So usually to schedule the job, right, so a specific time in midnight or some early morning by 2 a.m. this job should run. So we use this kind of command. Okay, and again we have something called incremental dot last value. So you can do full data import. I don't want to import the entire data because yesterday data is available in my Hadoop system, and today data alone I need to extract it. That is called incremental load. So in that case, what you do is incremental dot last value. So look here, you need to specify the date and timestamp. The timestamp, date and time, date you need to specify it here. Okay, and what will happen is 2011 1124 which from last value. What is the last time you stored the job? Right? See, yesterday you ran the job, right? The job got completed by so and so date and so and so time, and after that, post that time, I wanted to extract. I don't want to extract once again yesterday and today data. Today data alone needs to be extracted, right? You need to. This is what called as incremental import. Okay, even you can do incremental export also, and you have something. Yeah, correct. I was talking about fast connector. You remember in the what is the advantage of fast connector? If you use fast connector, it will be much faster to import the data or export the data. For that, you need to use this option -hyphen direct. In addition to all the things, right? But don't get options file all the things. Okay, this is a different thing. Here also we specify -hyphen connect, username, password, everything. Along with that, you need to specify direct -hyphen direct. That's it. It will be much faster. What are the disadvantages of fast connector? First, only MySQL works currently. So the fast connectors were supported. The direct option you can use it only with MySQL and PostgreSQL. And if you use fast connectors, right, with Avro and sequence file, right, it will not work. Only with the specific RDBMS it is working, and if you have Avro and sequence file, right, output file, it will not work. So Avro is a specific format of the file. This is also serialized one. It is kind of a JSON kind of file. Okay, kind of JSON file, and it is a serialized and deserialized format of this file Avro. If you want to store the data in Avro, right, especially you cannot use direct option. Okay. Incremental imports, that is what I was discussing, right? So this is last modified. When did you modify the data, and the last value is this one. You can specify it, and then you can see, let's if you have a column, right? Let's say in my column, in my table, I have a column called code date, right? In the code date, we are let's yesterday customers purchased. Along with the customer detail, the date column is also there. There, when did the customer purchase? Yesterday, right? And then in the code date, let's supposing the customer start purchasing it today, right? Let's today. Today's date will be there in the code date. So you can use this code date column, right? That's what check column, right? In the check column, what you read, already dates are there. Yesterday date, day before yesterday, and prior to day before yesterday, and today date is there. So last 3 days data already I imported it. Why the hell should I import once again along with today's date, right? So what I do is in the code date column, right, specify the today's the last value, right? When was the last time we imported the data? So from after this, right, post this, it will import the data. Okay, increment, and then entire table. If you wanted to use the entire table, that's what we are doing it. One second, let me see. But thank God it is working fine. The issue got fixed now. Right, and this one, supposing you wanted to store the or import the table. Let's say in this case the table name is it is. You want to import this table in a specific folder, right? You can specify the target directory like this. Okay, this should not be there. This should be non-existing one. Otherwise, it will throw an error like directory already exists. You remember in the case of Hadoop when we submitted the jar, right? As part of submitting the jar, we need to specify input directory and output directory, but the output directory should be non-existent one, right? Similarly here also it is with a non-existing folder. If you want to load the data in a specific folder, right, you can specify that. And other than this, okay, fields terminated by, you have something called fields. Each column is terminated comma or tab, right? And lines terminated by new line. Okay, it will let you know if the data is they store the data tab separated, but yeah, lines terminated by this enter, right? So that is the format you need to specify it here. This separator, right, column separator, and the field lines separated by this one. And apart from this, store the data in the sequence file format, and then store the output data. Instead of store the data, import the data in the text file. Store the output in the Avro data file format, right? So you have many options are available. Apart from this, your where option is there. I don't want to import the entire data, subset of the data of the table I want to import where amount is greater than 1000. If you specify it, it will do that. Okay, and all these things, a number of mappers you can also specify. Supposing you don't have the primary key column in your table, then you specify the number of mappers, 10 or 15 or 20. And how do we specify the number of mappers? If you know the number of records in your data set, right, what you do is roughly, let's say you have 10,000 records, what you do is, right, probably you can use 10 mappers. Each mapper will fetch 1000 records. Okay, if I want to import all the tables in my database, in the test database, I don't have, I don't apart from the customer table, I have a lot of other tables also there. In one shot, I wanted to import, let's say I have 20 tables are there in my MySQL test database. I want to import the entire 20 tables into the Hadoop file system. You can use this option, import all tables, right? And then if you want to import the process in parallel, you can specify the number of mappers, right, 10 also, and incrementally load the data. That's what we already discussed. And joining more than one table, you can use the join class also, right, by joining this table. See, look, in this case, I'm using employee and department table. I'm joining these two tables based on the department ID. Where conditions, you can specify the conditions also here. Okay, and split by ID, target directory, right? A split by ID. Look here, I just mentioned the column name. Which column you need to take into account while splitting the data? Sorry, to split the data, which column you are supposed to use it in order to use or spawn multiple based on the number of based on this column, right, the number of mappers will be determined automatically. You understood, right? You can use based on joining condition or join condition. Lot of options are available. You try everything, but in case anything fails, you don't break your head too much, right? Maybe you check the net, right? If this version is available, is this supported in the latest version of Scoop? Okay, and this one, columns, right? Columns transport the portion of data from, right? Again, I want to select only, I want to import the data from this table for this column only, right? For this column, I need to export the data into my table. So in this case, what happened? I'm going to upload the data from my local system to my patient table. Okay, you export the data, and the next one is export directory. I need to specify the directory here. Okay, and which directory the data is there, the Hadoop file system. Okay, take the data and load it into MySQL table patient. Okay, column wise, and the subset of the data, like where clause, or by joining the columns, joining the data file, and what kind of output you want it while importing the data. What is the output, right? Avro or something else, right? You can specify it there. Okay, and next one is supposing, in this case of job, right? The job will get stored in the meta store. The meta store is the one holding the job detail, right? Like what is the table, which database, what is the connect string, and what is the username, password, whether it's an incremental load or full load, right? Incremental itself is something called append. So what is append? You don't have to specify the till the which point in time you need to fetch the data. You don't have to specify, you don't have to fetch the data based on the date timestamp, right? Instead, what you are doing is, right, incremental append. For example, here it is import, right? Yeah, import the data, incremental append. Append will okay, so the latest record automatically will be appended in your target file system. Okay, automatically it will take care. You don't have to specify date timestamp. And here also similarly, right? If you want to execute the job, exec and show what are the, first of all I want to see what are the jobs are there. See what are the jobs got stored and got stored in the system already. By seeing this, you created a job by the name of my patient job. In your company, other 20 people, they created 20 other jobs. Using this command, you can see what all the jobs got created and stored there. You can view it. Okay, and then you can do bulk transfer direct, right? So direct, right, bypassing the JDBC interface and uses the native utilities. This is something like you are in the MySQL itself, right? I think the traditional RDBMS, they have their own export and import utilities are there. Okay, there, right, you have something direct option. Even their direct option is there. It will not use a JDBC interface, rather it uses some native utilities while transferring the data. In that case, the performance will be much faster. Okay, and the next one is table series input null string. If you have null values in the string column, null non-string, right, you can put this one. Okay, input null string. In case of your missing values, right, you can put null string. And this one is update key ID and update mode allow insert. In this case, okay, let's say in my Hive I have a table called cities. Okay, now my data is available in my file system. Connect MySQL scoop, right? Here I mentioned about scoop. This is from directly from MySQL to Hive. 1 second, let me just check here. Table series. It is not Hive. See, in version 1 it was possible from MySQL to directly you can load the data into Hive, but in version 2 it is not there. MySQL, yeah, the export, right, from the file system I need to take the data Hadoop file system and then upload it back into a table called cities. While updating is, right, based on the key column you allow the insert, right? Let's say my ID column is there in this table, right? If my Hadoop file system data, right, the file which is on the Hadoop file system, right, as some key column like ID, right, right, it will come and check if the ID is same as this one. If the ID is already there, right, if the ID is update key ID, right, update mode is allow insert. You can insert the record if the ID is not there, update key is not there. If the ID is not already there, then you can insert the record, right? That is what it says. But anyhow, I will recheck 1 second. Let me do one thing. I think that is what. But here is he mentioned that update key. That's the reason I got confused. Oh, again it failed here. What is the problem here? Millisecond. So far it was working fine. Unsupported record version unknown 5.0. Attempt failed. Last packet successfully is in server. The last packet sent successfully is server. Right. So here 30 milliseconds ago communication link by the last packet sent successfully the server seconds ago. Okay. So far it was coming fine. Look here it assigned the job and then job ID also was there and map reduce and failed, attempt failed, timeout, and what is the problem? Communication link failure. Some link is failing there. Run mapper, it creates the mapper task and some coming, yeah, MySQL JDBC connection, some problem with the JDBC connections. So this one allow insert, let me recheck and I'll come back to you, right? Probably both I will recheck, and I forgot this because long back I used all these options, but you can also give it a try. Okay, so you just these are all assignments, you just give it a try. The only thing is, yes, if I if I am able to see, earlier I checked it was working fine, okay, in the past, and even Cloudera, even Turnworks also I checked it was working fine, the same command only. It is failing now. Yeah.
Is it because of the JDBC driver version issue or something like that?
No. That and all not a problem, because the same system I was able to import the data. There is nothing related to JDBC. Okay, and the only thing is, let me just check. 1 second. Just let me do one thing. See, MySQL minus u root and minus p. Right. So this is the one is for. Maybe username. Correct. So what is this username? Who am I? Yeah, we will try with Hadoop file system. Okay, maybe that is the problem. HDFS at localhost, because this is where he set all the path, everything. Okay, if this is not working, then some other problem. I think it should work with this one because of the path, right? The JDBC path and all, it is not, the Hadoop path is not detecting it. See here, it was able to server packet was successfully received in the server. See, it was able to receive the data. Last packet sent successfully to the server milliseconds ago, and then it got failed. A connection failed, something. It was able to fetch the data. Let me use the same thing. Here it will not come. Or I'll go here and I just copy paste it here. 1 second. Yes, this is the last option. If this doesn't work, give me some time. Okay, I will try to check it out. If this works, right, you can you can try all these options. Okay, try it on your own. Now what we will do is, in the interest of time, right, we will spend another half an hour. Okay, because I'll finish up the Hive part also, right, or I'll explain the Hive architecture. It's all very simple one, even Hive and Scoop and all. 1 second. Those of you worked on RDBMS or any database, right, you should be able to pick up this one. But only thing is, you should be knowing the architecture. In the interview, they'll ask you about the architecture. Okay, how the underlying things are. When you fire a query, what is happening? Even in the case of Hive, when you fire a SQL query against the Hive data warehouse, behind the scene it generates the MapReduce job. Okay, MapReduce job. See, the Hive and Hive and Pig, right? We are going to discuss about Pig also. Hive and Pig is also an abstraction on top of MapReduce. It's kind of a wrapper. Okay, we don't have to write MapReduce program. All we need to do is write SQL query. It will take care of everything. Okay, by behind the scene it generates the MapReduce job and it will fire it against the Hadoop file system. Okay, or against the Hive data warehouse. Okay. It allows the users to query data in Hadoop cluster without knowing Java or MapReduce. That is what I said. The tables are stored in a structured form the data are the structured data in the case of high data warehouse, but the data are stored on top of Hadoop file system. Unlike the traditional RDBMS database, the table data are stored on top of the file system only. Okay, but still, right? But you need to, if you to create the table, you have to get into the Hive data warehouse. There only you can create the table, and then you can use HiveQL language. Hive, they have, instead of saying SQL, right? They say HiveQL language, Hive query language, and turns HiveQL into MapReduce jobs. This is how we need to install. This headache is not there because everything is already available here. Okay, so now this is the Hive architecture. Look here, this is the Hive architecture. In the case of when you look at this one, right, this is my Hive server. I have three options to connect to the Hive server. I can use either Thrift client. There is something called Thrift client. Okay, and apart from this, you have JDBC client, or you have something else called ODBC client. Right? Usually, when you talk to Oracle guys, right, Oracle and MySQL, the MS SQL server, right, they use ODBC connectivity to connect to the database. And some cases they use JDBC. So you have three options. Either you can connect to the Hive's data warehouse using JDBC client, like in the case of MySQL, we are using JDBC, right? We are using JDBC connection to connect to the database, right? Or you can use ODBC, or you can use Thrift client. Let's the user, the user calls, and the user interface, right? The user interface calls the execute interface. Okay, the execute interface. Let's they are executing the query, right? Let's assume that the user submitted a query here. They submitted the query using this client, right? So now what will happen is, this one, right? This when they submit the SQL query, what happens is, right? It calls the this one driver, right? The query will be accepted by the driver. You have something called driver. The driver, what it does is, it accepts the query, and it creates something called a session handle for the query, and then it passes the query to the compiler, right? See, you are submitting the query. The Hive server, what it does is, it creates some kind of session handle for the query, and then it passes the query to the compiler. Why it passes the query to the compiler? Because the compiler will generate the execution plan. You have something called execution plan. Okay. And then what happens is, the compiler, right, upon receiving the SQL query, it sends the metadata request to, you have something called metastore. Even here also you have something called metastore. By default, the metastore will get installed on top of a database called Derby, RDBMS database called Derby. It's a very small RDBMS. Okay. The compiler, what it does, upon receiving the query from the driver, it sends the metadata request to the metastore, right? The metastore, right, it sends the metadata to the compiler. Why it has to send the request to the metastore to get the metadata? Because it wants to, so the compiler has to perform the semantic and syntactic check whether the query you submitted is syntactically correct, or the logic, everything is correct. Okay, so first it will, semantic check will be done by the compiler in order to perform the syntactic check whether the table name you mentioned it correctly or not, or the column name whatever you mentioned in your query is correct or not, right? For that, what it does is, it will send the request to metastore. Hey, please tell me the column name or the table name exists in your metastore with this name, right? The user use this table name, whether this table name is present in your database or not, and also what are the columns, right? Columns are there in the table, right? And so upon receiving the metadata information, what the compiler does is, right, it uses this metadata for performing the semantic check and syntactic check, and then, right, it generates the execution plan, right? In the execution plan, it will get generated something like, DAG, directed acyclic graph. You have something called directed, in the case of we spoke about the graph, right? Where did we speak? TensorFlow. DAG, right? You remember tensor board, right? Tensor board. We discussed about tensor board. Do you all forget this one? The tensor board, we can visualize a kind of an execution plan. That time I discussed about execution. You remember, the compiler, upon receiving the metadata from the meta store, it performs the semantic check and the syntactic check. In case of any syntax error, right, the column name wrongly typed or the table name was not present, right, the query will fail, right? If everything, if the syntactically and semantically, if the query is correct, right, then it generates the execution plan, which is nothing but the directed acyclic graph. Rom, are you there? Rom, SQL query, right? SQL query in general in RDBMS. Before we execute the SQL query, right, we check the explain plan in the traditional RDBMS, right? So, which, yeah,
Will be reused here as well, the same execution plan.
correct.
For example, if it is create once,
Hmm.
next time will it be reused? The next time the same query is.
Correct. Yeah, I understood. Okay. See, what happens when you fire a query? What will happen, right? It will generate the execution plan, something like execution plan. Right? That is what is happening here. The execution plan is nothing but, right? Which access path the system supposed to, which access path it should use to fetch the data from the system, right? Yeah, that is the whole idea of this one, right? In this case, what happened? It generates the execution plan for map MR jobs, right? The plan, the execution plan, it consists of the map operator trees. Okay, a map and reduce operator tree. It will generate the, it will include the map and reduce tree, right? So how many mappers should be created, where the mapper should get executed. See, when it sends the request to Metastore, it not only it gets the table name and column name, and also it gets the blocks related to the table where it got stored in the Hadoop database, right? That also it gets, and then it constructs the map reduce thing also here, right? It creates the map reduce operator tree. Okay, so the compiler, what it does is, right, after generating the execution plan, right, it sends the execution plan back to the driver. Okay, right. So next, what happens is, right, the driver, right, it sends the execution plan to the execution engine. You have something called execution engine. Okay, the driver, upon receiving the execution plan from the compiler, it will send it to something called execution engine for executing the plan, whatever the plan was there, right, based on which the execution engine will execute it. Right? What it does is, ultimately the data stored on top of your Hadoop file system, again on everything is there. So see the driver, right, finally once it receives the execution plan from this, it will send that execution plan to the execution engine. The execution engine, as per the plan, it initiate the map reduce job against the Hadoop file system, right? That is what Hive architecture. In the Hive architecture, right, this is what your Hive client, and this is what Hive services. This is your resource management. This is where you store that the data gets stored, right, in the case of Hadoop. See, the execution engine, right, it sends 3 stages of DAG to appropriate component, right? So one is for each task, either mapper or reducer, or what happens is, right, the deserializer associated with the table or intermediate objects also used it in order to read the rows from the HDFS files, right? And then, right, these are then passed through the associated operator tree, right? Once the output gets generated, it is then returned back to the HDFS temporary files using the serializer, right? So these temporary HDFS files are then used to provide data to the subsequent map reduce stages of the plan, right? So in the case of DML operations, what do you mean by DML operation? Data manipulation language. If you want to do update or delete, right, what happens in the case of DML operation, the final temporary file is then removed to the tables location. Okay, so that is what that is what is happening behind the scene. Okay, to repeat, let's say you are submitting query right from the client, the ICE server, right? What it does is it sends your query to the driver is the one responsible for accepting the query from the respective client, and then he sends the query to compiler. Compiler requests for the metadata from the metastore. Metastore sends the metadata information back to compiler. Compiler generates the execution plan, and then it sends back the execution plan to the driver, and then the driver, what it does is it sends the query to optimizer. Optimizer is kind of execution engine, and then finally the execution plan will execute the it executes the query as per the execution plan. That one will be sent to your MapReduce via driver, and then here what happens is in the case of MapReduce, right, already the execution plan, it will have the MapReduce tree, right? How many number of mapper should run, which mapper should run first, and which reducer should run when, right? All the plan will be there, right? And then based on the plan it will get executed. Okay, the once the output gets generated, what happens is the output will get stored in the temporary file of your temporary it will get stored as a temporary file on your HTTPS file system, right, through the serializer. You have something called serializer. Okay, because security is important, right? Someone though you store it in temporary file system, or temporarily if you store the data, it should not be hacked by somebody else, right? This temporary files are later used to provide the data to the subsequent map reduce stages of the plan. See, in the you have some map process, right, and you have reduce here. This map got produce some output, and then this output will be sorted out using the shuffle, and then this one will be sent as an output, this one, this output again will be used by other map process, right? So this one in order for this one, right, that the output of the maps will be stored in a temporarily these output files will be stored somewhere, and then this one will be used as an output for other subsequent job, right? Other subsequent job, different various steps will be there, right? Different steps, and the subsequent steps it will be sent to process further. Okay, and once the entire output gets generated, it will be sent back to the client. And the next step is even in the case of Hive data warehouse, right, most of the commands are similar to MySQL only. Thank God, right? Facebook, they created, they are the one, they are the mastermind, or they are the brain behind developing the Hive data warehouse. The reason why they developed Hive data warehouse was most of their developer community and the business users were familiar with writing SQL queries. They were not comfortable with Java program, and also writing Java program was taking a lot of time, right? So to instead of writing Java program, lines and lines of Java program, better we will write this SQL query. We will enable our user community, developer community or business user community to write this SQL query, because most of them were familiar with writing SQL query with Facebook that time. And what they did, they developed they developed Hive data warehouse. Okay, and the business users and the user community, all they have to do is write the SQL query. Behind the scene, it will generate the map and reduce job, right? And then ultimately, right, you saw the sequence of the series of steps, how it undergoes in terms of producing the output, right? As per the architecture we discussed it. That is how the outputs are generated. The create table, the most of the syntaxes are same as MySQL. Since earlier Facebook was using MySQL only. Because of the scalability, all the issues, they migrated everything into Hive, the Hadoop system. Okay, And since most of the developers are familiar with writing SQL queries, they developed Hive data warehouse. Okay, and behind the scene it generates the MR program, the Java program generates it, and then the MR itself submits on its own, right? As per the execution plan, it submits on its own and it generates the output. Right? Since most of their developers were familiar with MySQL, they they implemented the same syntax, the syntax similar to MySQL only. Okay, it is not exactly same, somewhat similar to MySQL commands. The query, everything is similar. Sorry, the query and the table, right? How to create a table, and but only this one is in a row format, delimited, fields terminated by comma, stored as text file. Okay, stored as a text file, right? That's all. So this table will get created, and the delimiter is comma, and it will get stored as a text file, right? Text file. And what you can do is you can create the table definition. This is empty table. One option is, I have the text file which is available on my Hadoop file system. Using load data in path, right? You can load this file data into your Hive table patient. Okay, and then you can you can use insert into also. Instead of using insert into, you have another option, right? This is, the data is already available in a file, right? You can simply use load data to upload into your Hive table called patient. This is one way of doing it. Suppose the data is not available, I won't do it manually, right? You have something called Data Analytics Studio. If you go to Data Analytics Studio, it is very slow. System hangs like hell. See, if I click one, other one goes. Shell in a box. Okay, this is the problem. Let me close this one. You have Data Analytics Studio. Wait for some time. I will wrap up in 10 minutes time. Sorry, I took much time. But anyhow, one way it is good, right? Because the system problem, though I have 16 GB RAM, what else can I do, right? So look here. So these queries I already stored it. Okay, these queries already I stored it. If you want to write a query, click Compose, the Data Studio Analytics. This is kind of your interface to your Hive. Instead of writing the script, or instead of writing the query in the command line, you can use this GUI. For example, I want to see what are the databases are there in my Hive server, Hive database, show database. The same command is we used in MySQL also, right? Let me see if this is successful. Up to this it went fine, right? After this one it broke. It was able to create the job. Oh my god, so attempt. I will close my PowerPoint, I think, because of which it is signing. Yeah, now we got it. Yeah, I got this one. See, I just clicked execute. It is rotating here. It is taking some time. Failed to execute query. What happened here? Failed to execute. What happened? Show databases or show database? Okay, let me go to use this saved. Already I saved something here. Let me go here and queries.
Show databases.
Databases, right? Yeah. So that is the problem. It is not executing it. Go to meeting consumes too much of CPU. it failed again. So anyhow, I will just check it out, the reason for this. Oh no, it is going on, right? The previous one, but again we cannot say as of now it is going on. Look here, select min of id, max of id from customer. I told you, right, in the case of SCO, it it fires a query right before it runs the job. It checks the minimum value of your id column and maximum value of the id column, so that it can set the boundary, right? So let's say I have 10,000 records. So how many number of mappers we can use it? See, number of splits 4 from 10 to 21, number of splits. Oh, we have something called split concept. We'll discuss it. Number of splits 4, right? It uses 4. Body also I will close it. It is not required now. Show yeah, it is already there. Show databases, and if we execute this one, I already created a table and I stored the data also. In the interest of time, right? Because okay, in the meanwhile, let us look at this one. Let's let's spend another 5 minutes, and then we'll, because even I have some other calls. Yeah, we have something called external table. If you if they ask any question around Hive, they definitely ask the external table related question. Okay, so external table, supposing I have a file. Okay, I have imported a file from my MySQL database, right? That MySQL database file got stored on top of Hadoop as data10.txt. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I don't want to load the data into, look here, in the case of, one second, I'll just show you here. What happened is still executing it. Yeah, show database. Query has been submitted. My God, query has been submitted. Where is the output? Data loading. Yeah, look here. These are the database. Default footmart. Can you see the table name here, right? So the default footmart information schema sys test is the one I created it. So now what we will do is, I want to open the test database, and then I want to select the table name, select star from what is the table name? EMP, I think so. Okay, EMP. Let me execute this one. So why I want, one second here. See, you have insert into option, right? Insert into table values, you can do it. Manually you can do insert into, using insert into command, you can insert the data into table, right? The data will get stored in the table, but still the file will get stored on top of the Hadoop file system only. But instead of using insert into and loading the data, the file is already sitting on top of Hadoop file system, right? So create a table called external, and then specify the path name of this file, the folder name of this file, in which location of Hadoop file system, which file is sitting there, right? So what did I just specify? The patient external, right? Here stored as text file. Look here, this is the table, column name, everything, row format, this is syntax, okay, delimited fields, comma, stored as text file, location, patient external, right? So load data in path, this is the file is there. It's simply, it will it will put a link to this one. It will create a link between this one. It will not actually load the data into this table. It will not actually load the data, right? Simply it is creating a pointer to this folder. That's all. This one will get mapped to this one, so that you don't have to load the data from, see, already my data is sitting on top of Hadoop file system in the name of data10.txt. Why should I again load it into another table, right? So what I do is, hey, this is the table, right? So for this table I use a definition called external table, and I gave the name as patient external, and I gave this this one, right, the location. This is the location. This is text file location. I mentioned this one here. What I do is this location, right, map this one with this one. That's all. That's it. So here there is no loading time at all. Supposing you wanted to, this file consists of 10 million records. If you wanted to load it, right, import it, it will take longer time, right, or export it also, it will take longer time. Rather, if you create external table, right, it will simply point to this folder. That's all. It will not load it. But again, if you want to fire any query, you can fire it. The data will be fetched from the this file. That's all. Here you don't have to load the data externally. Though the command says load data in path, it will not load into this one. That is the important aspect of using external, creating external table. Simply it points to, it will tell the table, go and read from this file. That's all. Okay, read the file from this, but don't load it here. Okay, that is the whole idea of this one. Just simply mapping this file location to this table definition. That's it. Right? You can save a lot of time. And next we have something called partitions. Right? We have something called country wise, date wise. If you want to partition the data, partition is one of the important feature in storage. All right. What do you mean by partition? Partition is something like this. See, it is something like divide and conquer. Listen, in my table I have 100 million records are there, right? And 1 second here, it takes a lot of time. Let's say in my table, my Hive table, right, we have 10 million records are there, or 100 million records are there, right? So let's say my query, right, I'm firing a query. I wanted to know the sales, sum of sales, in region, where region, right, from table, right, from, sorry, sum sale from, let's sales, sales history, where region is equal to north. For north region alone, we wanted to find out the total sale. In my table, I have 100 million records are there. If I fire this query, what will happen? See, this 100 million records consists of all the region did, north, east, west, south, right? If I fire this query, it has to run through these 100 million. It is kind of full table scan. It goes and check which records are related to north. See, it has to go and search here and there. Okay, there is but here index is also not possible. In the case of data warehouse, right, there will not be any index. It has to do some kind of sequential scan. It takes a lot of time. Right? What they did, right, you have an option called partition. So what they did, they splitted the data, and for example, you can also specify, right? You have a folder called south, north, west, east. You split the data and store it into 4 different folders. Instead of storing the data in a single file, split the data and store it in different folders. Let's say in the north region, if you have out of 100 million, let's say you have only 100,000 records are there, only 1 lakh record is there, and here you have, right, 50 million is there, 50 million, here 25 million is there. Here you have, you have 20 million records are there, right? And just because to read 1 lakh record, I have to scan through the entire data. It will take a lot of time. If you create a partition based on the region column or some other column, you need to find out which column you are supposed to use it. In this case, region column. What will happen if you execute the query? This query will come to this folder, and it will it will perform the sum on this 100,000 records only. Hence the query retrieval time will be much faster. Okay, that is. But can I create the partition based on more than one column? Yes, date wise, month wise, right? For example, right? So month based on month, right, or year, right? For year wise sales, year 2020 and year 2020, right? So the north, and you have something called another folder called year 2019, right? If you want to perform north region, if you want to find out the total sales on the north region on 2020, it will go to this folder. And if you want to compare, if you want to check the 2019 sales for the north region, it will go here and it will fetch it. That's all. Hence the performance will be faster. The key here is you need to be very clear on what kind of queries that you are going to fire it more frequently, based on which condition, right? So based on which you can decide which column you are supposed to use it to create the partition, right? That is the whole idea of partition. So look here. So in this case, partition by country, I've given the country, different country I'm operating my business, right? So in this case, data local in path here, this is the file into table patient partition one. Specific partition alone you can, for example, in India, I have the India data, I got it, right? Let's say I'm in USA, India data I got it. What I do is India data alone, I load it in the India folder. US data, I load it in the US folder. So in that case, the loading time is also much faster. So this is where, right, the partition will get stored. You have some by default user Hive warehouse, right? This folder will be there on top of the Hadoop file system. This is where all the Hadoop related tables will get stored in the form of files. Okay, so a very simple one. Look here, date and country, the combination of these two columns, and right, that is what and we have something called buckets, right? So in this case, what happened, bucket patient, look at this, this is the patient name, patient ID, patient name, and drug, all these things are clustered by PID into 4 buckets. Supposing why bucket is coming into picture, right? Supposing I don't know, let's in the region column, maximum 4 regions are there. In the month column, I know maximum 12 will be there. Year column, let's say I wanted to do some comparison for the last year because the most recent data. I don't want to perform any analysis in the very older data. Fine. Based on, right, I know which column I supposed to use it to split the data and store it in the respective folder, right? But I have something called patient ID. Patient ID is not the categorical variable, right? These are the categorical variables, not a categorical variable. Hence, the cardinality is very high, right? But I don't have any other column like, region or date, nothing is there. In that case, is it possible to create partition, right? That is where you have something called clustered by buckets, right? So 4 buckets, what it does is, it will split the data, the PID, into 4 different buckets. It will store the data equally into 4 equal buckets. Okay, that is how it splits the data and store it into this one, clustered by PID into 4 buckets. It will store the data into buckets. For that, what you need to do is, you need to enable this parameter in your configuration file, right? Hive enforce bucketing it to true, or in the command line also I think you can do it. And then insert override table, bucketed patient select star from parent, so patient, right, can contain multiple fields for bucketing. So what here we are doing is, we are inserting the data, right, in override table, bucketed patient, select star from patient. I have something called patient table is already there, right? Select all the patient data, and while storing the patient data, we split that patient data into 4 different buckets, right? Certain customers you store it in this one, certain patient you store it here, certain patient you store it here, and certain patient you store here, right? So that is how it's split and store that. But this is PID is not this is not the candidate column for creating the partition. If you don't find any candidate column to create the partition, like how I showed you, right, region, all these things, right? So still what you can do is, based on some ID column, right, you can create buckets. This one will get splitted and stored across 4 different buckets equally. partition with bucket, right? The same thing, right? Select star from partition bucket where country equal to India. What you can do is, yeah, you can combine bucket with partition also, right? Combine part. Listen, in India, India is one region, right? The one folder, and within this, right, 4 different buckets. Right? In this bucket, one set of customers, patients are there. Here, another set of patients. Another set of patients are there. Here, another set of patients are there. Suppose your query wants to, select the data from the India region, and the customers, right? If they are falling in this first bucket, the performance retrieval time will be much faster, right? To extract the data from this specific portion alone, you are narrowing down here, right? Right? India itself, I have millions of record. In that case, since you have used bucketing option, right? So each folder you have 4 buckets. In this, each country you have 4 buckets. Supposing the data which you are trying to access in India, that is falling in this one bucket, right? It will be much faster. The query will retrieve the data in a much faster time. Now we understood, right? What is the rationale behind creating bucketing, and also you can combine the bucket with partitioning also. And these are the primitive data: string and boolean, tiny int, right? Integers, float, double, and array also you can create it. And Hive line. That's it here. That's pretty much about the key concepts around Hive table. And the rest of the commands are same as your MySQL, most of them, except creating table, right? Row formatted, delimited by comma, that except that one, the rest of the commands are same. My god, it is still going on and stop is on means it is still going on. So I covered Hive, the concepts, and Scoop also, but Scoop I will check and why it is failing, right? And if I give you the solution, you can try it on your own. Okay, the next one is the query, everything is same as this is the same command we used in MySQL, the same command we used it in MySQL, right? And but only thing is, look here, still it is rotating, that means it's still going on. Okay, it is already 11:47. Okay, I have some other deliverable, okay, and I need to complete my office job also, right? What we will do is we will circle back on Tuesday and Wednesday. Okay, Tuesday and Wednesday we will continue with pig. We have something called pig, and also I will come back with the solution for this, why it is failing. I'll check and I'll come back. And pig we will cover it. I will cover it on Tuesday. Pig and Spark I will try to cover it on the same day. Okay, and also on Wednesday we will continue with SAS. Okay, SAS also I'll just help you how to navigate, how to the if condition, right? How to write if condition, and what the data types are there, how you can import the data, how you can use the external data to using proc, right? How you can retrieve the data from the external file, and how you can perform exploratory data analysis, univariate analysis, bivariate analysis, how we can do that, and also how to implement linear regression, logistic regression. I'll show you. Okay, with that we are going to wrap up. The query has been submitted. My god, just now I think it will show the output in the short while. Just now only the query has been submitted. The reason, because even for select star, right, it generates the map and reduce behind the scene, the Java's code. It submits it behind the scene. Just now it got submitted. But anyhow, this Sunday evening I will let you know. Look here, the data got fetched. So only one record is there: employee name, employee ID, employee salary, Chennai. That's all. And if you click visual plan, I don't know how long it will take to show the. I was talking about the execution plan, right? I don't know how long it will take. Anyhow, the recording is still on, right? I'll keep it for another 5 to 10 minutes. Let it record, so that you can watch my recorded video. If this one get displayed, you can see it, because I need to hop into my office thing. Okay, and that's all. That's pretty much about the Scoop and Hive, and we will continue with Pig and Spark on this Tuesday, if possible, right? We will have it on Monday itself. Monday and Tuesday itself we'll wrap it up. Okay. No, it is not. This failed semantic table not found emp. So see, the emp is there already. It says it is every time you need to use test, and but it's already done, right? It is not showing it here. Visual plan is not possible. We are not like any of. Let's not worry about visual plan, right? Already I stored some queries here. How to create table, everything same as the syntax. I say, look here, create table. If not exists, look here. I'll just open it. The main concept, what you should understand here, even when you go through the internet and YouTube, which cannot understand the partition and clustered by buckets, right? That is the important thing. And apart from this, if you know, if you can understand the architecture, right? That is more than sufficient. The rest, everything is available in the net, and also in my PowerPoint, the queries, everything is there. You can try it out on this one. See, insert into, this is how we inserted the data. Okay, insert into values 100, JPOL, 1000, and right, these are the queries. It's all very same as MySQL, nothing much difference. Okay, fine. Any questions? Yeah, a lot of Lakshmi use for performance optimization. We do partition. Exactly, for performance optimization, we do partitioning. That is also one of the option. And he mentioned about CRUD operations. What do you mean by CRUD operation? Create, update, and delete. See, in the case of data warehouse, it is not a good practice to delete the record or update the record, because you have humongous amount. That is one of the key principles of data warehouse. Okay, the data warehouse is not the relational database. That's why they never say RDBMS. They call it data warehouse. Okay, it is not the what do they say? Relational, right? You have something called in the case of relational, they do some kind of table decomposition, everything, right? It is denormalized table. Data warehouse consists of denormalized tables, whereas RDBMS consists of normalized table. In the case of denormalized table, right, we don't use foreign key, primary key. Foreign key, primary key, will be using it in the case of RDBMS, but in the case of Hive and all, right, we don't use we don't use much keys here, because if you use primary key, we'll be using it, but foreign key we don't use it. Foreign key will screw up the performance. Okay, so, and also we don't do update, because update is an expensive operation, update and delete, because multiple reporting jobs will be running on top of your Hive data warehouse. If you perform update and delete, right, it takes a lot of time. That's the reason why even in the case of data warehouse, you check with your friends. Okay, business, nobody you performs update or delete on data warehouse tables. Okay, because it it's a very expensive operation, the update and delete, because here in the case of data warehouse, all the tables are denormalized. Kind of range, yes, Lakshmi, it's kind of a range, right? Yeah, we can use range also, right? It's kind of range, right? We can, that's what the date or month we use it, right? Month, you can store it here, month 12, or month 1, month 2, month 12 month for each country. We store the data in different folders. In that case, what will happen? The query retrieval time will be much faster. See, Dataverse is meant for analytics. If you want, the response time should be very faster. The latency should be very less, and the response time should be very faster. That is the principle of data warehouse. In that case, right, that is the reason why they don't use index. Index also you can use it, but if you use the index on the huge table, what will happen is, and again your query output, right, which selects huge number of data, what will happen is it has to both read the index value as well as the your table data also. It takes a lot of time, right? That is the reason why importantly they don't perform update and delete operation. Okay. Any questions? Okay, since you don't have any questions, I will wrap up the session now, and I will update you about the next session on this Sunday evening. Okay, and if you are okay, if I don't get any issues at my office, right, job related issues, we will continue on Monday and Tuesday itself. We'll wrap up everything. Okay, and then later on we will have follow up session, right? That we will see it later. And the the scoop, right, I will check and I'll come back to you in the meanwhile why it is failing, but I'm damn sure I tested it earlier, it was working fine. Okay, and some issue happened now. I'll just check it, I'll come back. Okay, all right. Good night. We will circle back on Tuesday or Monday. Okay, I'll get back to you on Sunday. Okay, bye.